Imagine a world untouched, a vast continent teeming with life and diverse cultures, existing for thousands of years in splendid isolation. This was North America before 1492, but in that year everything changed. Christopher Columbus, sailing under the Spanish flag, landed in the Caribbean, believing he had reached Asia. This discovery ignited a firestorm of European exploration and colonization that would forever alter the continent's destiny. Spain, hungry for gold and glory, was the first to make its mark. Conquistadors like Hernán Cortés and Francisco Pizarro carved out a massive empire in the south, from modern-day Mexico down into South America. They brought with them new technologies, new beliefs, and devastating diseases that tragically decimated native populations. While Spain focused on extracting wealth, other European powers watched with envy, eager for their own piece of the New World. France was next, venturing down the St. Lawrence River. Explorers like Jacques Cartier and Samuel de Champlain established Quebec and Montreal, creating the colony of New France. Unlike the Spanish, the French weren't just looking for gold. They found immense wealth in the fur trade, forging complex alliances and trading partnerships with various Native American tribes. This relationship, built on conquest, defined the French presence in North America, stretching their influence from Canada down the Mississippi River all the way to Louisiana. Meanwhile, England, a latecomer to the game, began planting colonies along the Atlantic coast. In 1607, Jamestown, Virginia was founded, a precarious settlement that survived on the back of a new cash crop, tobacco. 13 years later, the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth, seeking religious freedom. These were the seeds of the 13 colonies, each with its own unique character, from the Puritan society of New England to the plantation economy of the South, which tragically became dependent on the labor of enslaved Africans. These English colonies grew rapidly in population, driven by people seeking land, opportunity, and liberty. As these three great European empires, France and England, expanded, their territories began to overlap and their ambitions collided. The vast resource-rich Ohio River Valley became the primary flashpoint. For decades, it was a simmering pot of tension, with each side building forts vying for trade, and seeking alliances with Native American nations who were often caught in the middle, trying to play the empires against each other to protect their own lands and sovereignty. The tension finally boiled over in 1754, sparking what became known as the French and Indian War. This conflict was more than just a colonial skirmish. It was a theater of a global war between Britain and France. The 7 Years' War, young George Washington's early military encounters in the Ohio Valley, set the stage for a brutal, continent-spanning conflict. The early years of the war were disastrous for the British, with French forces and their native allies winning key victories. However, the tide turned when William Pitt took charge of the British war effort. He poured massive resources into North America, capturing strategic French forts like Louisbourg and Fort Duquesne. The defining moment came in 1759 with the Battle of the Plains of Abraham, where the British seized the heart of New France, Quebec City. The war officially ended in 1763 with the Treaty of Paris. France was forced to cede all its North American territory east of the Mississippi to Britain. Spain received the Louisiana Territory in a separate agreement. In just over a century and a half, the map of North America had been completely redrawn. Britain now stood as the dominant colonial power, its empire stretching from the Atlantic to the Mississippi. But this victory came at a great cost. The war had been incredibly expensive, and to pay off its debts, Britain would soon turn to its American colonies, imposing new taxes and regulations. The very war that secured British dominance also planted the seeds of rebellion, setting the stage for the next great chapter in North American history, the American Revolution. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey through history interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.